Hey, um, so I just want to talk about how training went last night because I teach. Astounding, right? We had a few people that I haven't trained before that they've trained at other clubs doing rapier. And then they met some students and friends of mine at a local LARP. Um, they got along and were like, hey, we're going to try out this class. And they seemed to have fun, which was cool. We were working on finding the sword, as kind of described and discussed through Fabris and Tibalt. How do we go about it? So, first drill we did was we have, for all my drills, it is a coach and student role. This stop, like, if I say coach should try and win this, then the student pretending to be coach tries to win the drill. This is cool. This is going to give particular interactions an impetus. If I say the coach just needs to do this, they may switch off a little. They may just kind of go through the motions. But sometimes I just need someone to brain dead do almost the right action so that the other person isn't shitting themselves and is like, oh, okay, I'm getting the vibe of what I'm meant to do under something along these lines. Then I call halt a little early because like, but I haven't really figured it out. It's like, it doesn't fucking matter. You know of it. We figure it out in the next thing. So the drills we did were, let's see if I remember, Student walks forwards. Student walks forwards, takes a lateral step or a step at a 45-degree angle, either to the inside or outside. I didn't really care. I showed to the inside, so most people did to the inside. And they shove the other person's sword a little. It's not a beat. It's more of a, I put my sword on yours and I push it so it's no longer pointing at me. Or, sword point at me bad. And coach, as the student does such, just disengages. That's it. That's the drill. Walk forwards, take a lateral step, shoving the other person's sword, and the other person shows you how free it still fucking is. You put your strong and someone's weak, but if it's to no end, you're actually in disadvantage. Don't tell anyone. It'd be fucking astounding. So, we go from that to roles reverse. Coach does the walk forward, step, shove. Neat. Student, upon getting the beginning of that shove, when they see coach's foot lift in the air, student begins to disengage under. But the word disengage is a little disingenuous. It becomes a cavazione, where it's underneath, and then as coach starts to land, you want greater depth of sword. Your sword goes into the interaction, so that if coach was to spit back and just go wonk, they would land in your strong. Cool. As that's occurring, the student is holding their foot in the air for as long as possible. They're trying to have a very long time for a lunge. Mid-flight, trying to place the point on the mask. Then as they're landing, they can take all the stees out of it, not shove them, whatever. But coach walks in, goes to shove. You cavazione touch mask, land. We go from there to now we've trained our coaches to do the goddamn bead we need. And they did it not with the understanding that they're going to be, this is just so coach does the right thing. I don't tell them that. They don't know where I'm going with half the drills, and that's important. That's part of the magic. I want them to go at it like, oh, okay, this is setting up for the rest of the night. I need to be good at this. Oh, this is so I can be a good coach. Yes. Duh. Now student doesn't walk forwards to take that lateral step. Student just walks forwards, gets to about first instance distance, which pretty much neither person upon extension of the arm can get their quillions past the tip of the other person's sword. If you were both extended, neither person's quillions would go past the tips of the swords. Student now pushes the weak of coach out of position, and in that act also puts their own weak and strong out of position. This inspires and encourages coach to now see a new target. If we do that to the inside, I walk forwards, I'm in my fencing position, I advance forwards, whatever. I put those three things out of position. They're weak, my weak and strong. My hand, of course, goes with that, but it's those three things. Then, as coach goes to Cavazioni over the top and try and zing you for just being a jackass, you put your strong back through the now advancing weak from their attack. We didn't do a distance crunch or a lateral step this time so that there wasn't a tempo for them to time. There's just a slow shoo. The coach pops the tempo bubble, not you. Cool. The next drill was we're going to do the same thing as the student, but instead of walk forwards, put my strong and weak out of position, put their weak out of position, you're going to walk forwards, put their weak fairly out of position, nowhere near as much, because your goal is to only put your weak out of position. That means that your strong stays in between you. That means that the cavazioni or disengage done by coach will, if done towards a target, will end up traveling over the strong. So instead of having the whole arm go, you're just going to go. And sometimes you're even going to open up the position. I'm working from the inside because it's easier to show the targets and the thing happening. And we keep that strong in between us so that their subsequent action goes over the strong. This is cool because the first drill, you are finding their weak, finding their sword with your strong on your counterattack. This, they are finding themselves on your strong. If they don't disengage and just want to go through the weak, that's cool. That's going to be a long ass action because your weak is out of position. They want to go through your weak. They need to then make a weird fucking action, which makes it really easy to mutate off and be like, cool, I'm just going to move the targets and maybe Gerada or something funny. Maybe I just cross step or passing step. Last drill. The last of the three is now walk forwards. Try and move their sword out of position, but it's a little hard. You can be over the top or below. Below is fun. You put your weak on their sword. You're still at the same first instance distance. But you're going to remove your strong so that they have to travel through your weak. They can't go through your strong. Now, your ability to move them will be drastically limited. If you go, but Mosh, I can move people's swords with my weak all the time. Are you putting your strong and weak out of position and it's the first drill? Or are you truly getting only your strong out of position? I don't know, man. Then, as they go to attack through your weak, they're very not likely to disengage. they're mostly likely to go like, oh, you open the gates. It's hard for me to visually see the threat. I'm just gonna go through your week. Neat. As they attack through the weak, you get to only move the strong back in. Your strong finds their sword, and the act of finding their sword with your strong frees your own weak as a byproduct. And as it's being freed, if you free it towards their face in the same tempo, it's no longer, oh, I'll just graduate to the left or something. It's, oh, you're traveling through. I free my weak while finding your sword, and my weak getting free hits you. This is neat. Walk forwards, remove the strong from the interaction, keep the weak in the interaction. They go to thrust through the weak because that's all the targets are behind the weak. Now, neat. Some caveats. If coach is doing a thrust, just a direct thrust to the opening through the interaction with no extra fuckery, this drill is substantially easier and you can usually just hit the head. If they add parries or add opposition, like a lot of people truly believe is correct, which that's a whole other video. As you react to that, the act of them trying to add defense, usually to the face, or maybe it's to the inside or outside or below, if they're doing like one of these cocked up thrusts, that adds a parry to it somehow. You're given more time because their reach reduces, so for them to cross that distance and hit is going to give you the time to go like, fuck, you're an idiot, and just thrust through there, find their weak, go to the adjacent side that's open. If they're covering their face, you're most likely going to flankenade or belly thrust. You don't want to do constrain or like big loop and go then in it. It's not a 2-tempo action, it's a I'm counter thrusting your action. Oh, you're covering your face. Like, go straight to your belly. It's a direct, like, oh, boom. Boom. Can be a little spooky, but the act of the hilt going forwards is what gives you all the traits and all the vibes and all the hopes and dreams that the circular action or the parry was going to give you, but it does it at the same time as hitting them, opposed to doing all that, then going to hit them. But because you've done all that for one tempo, the other person has felt that they're fucked and has time to go, oh, now you're attacking me, I'm going to parry the fuck out of that. So if you're struggling to hit the head over and over, just look at what coach is truly doing. Like, use your goddamn eyes and just pick a different spot. It's fucking fine. From there, we did a drill of, I think there was 10 people. So we had 3 lines, 3 people in each, plus the one somewhere, who cares? And then one person at the front would be coach. You would have someone walk forwards and do one of the 3. Their whole sword goes out of position, taking your weak. Their weak goes out of position, taking your weak. Their strong goes out of position, maybe moving your weak. It doesn't matter. Coach in all things goes, cool, where's the target, where's the thing I can attack? Can I just, from this position that I am currently in, that I've been put in, can I go for a shot? Can I hit you? and it's usually cavationi, or it's also the thrust straight through, like whatever. And the student walks forwards, does one of those three, counters, boom. Walk forwards, do a setup, they react, you win. Neat. Once you do that with your coach, you go to the end of the next line. Once everyone has worked with every coach at least once, they make a ruckus. The next three people who were in that line become coaches for everyone. Once that occurs, everyone becomes coaches for everyone. We had a debrief. Just data points are important as we were trying to do it. Then I added one last layer. A setup, a walk forwards, a threat of I am controlling the situation is only fucking useful if you can counter the most annoying thing someone can do. Sit the fuck still, not fall for anything. Right? You throw feints and they just ignore you. You fucking dick around with their sword, they put it back. They don't do anything extraneous or stupid. How do you win? You add on top that, if you don't play along, if you don't play the game with me, if you don't spend a whole action getting back to 50-50 as the only way to save yourself, but you sit there stone-faced like, I don't fall for your traps. As you're putting the setup on, you should be going, cool, but I will just hit you in the next tempo. Like, that's fine. My setup makes, for example, say I take my strong away. As I'm taking the strong away, I'm still crunching distance. I'm crunching distance slow. My body weight may be transitioning from one foot to the other at a glacial pace. Or maybe my foot's going through the air at a slow rate so I don't just fall. But I am crunching distance until suddenly I'm at second instance or even third instance. Second instance is the distance that if you both extended, you're both going to be about the point over the middle of the forearm or elbow, mostly the middle of the forearm, somewhere in that space. And third instance is that the extension of the arm makes the tip go through the head. Second instance, it's mate in one, so like you're going to have to make a move to then mate them. If it's third instance, it is mate. It is, you've let me get this close, I can move my arm into that position. As long as I pick the right fucking line and don't just be a dickhead, I'm going to just win. Like, is that what you wanted? Is that what you were looking for? Whatever. So you're walking forwards, doing the same drill as before. Put your whole sword out of position and they're weak. Put your weak out of position with their weak. Put your strong out of position while they're weak. And coach will occasionally just stone-face stay. Or they're going to wait as long as possible to be a nasty bastard. And you are going to go, are you sure you don't want to play along? Because like I've also got a subsequent win condition, which is you do nothing. Doing nothing at this distance is as committed, as important, as stupid as doing the wrong thing, because a commitment to an action is an action. You saying no, I won't react has the same effect on you physiologically as reacting, because you need to not react to then begin reacting. Are you sure you want to do that? Because I'll win in the next moment. And the coach keeps going like, no, I can pick it, or I'm not falling for it. And I guess. And you just touch them, and then maybe they flinch afterwards, and it's too late because you've gotten to the distance that you have sick depth of hill. And that was the whole drill. How to walk forwards, find their sword during their attack, walk forwards, let them find themselves on your sword. The funny Fabris, like, hey, holding your sword like this and it's horizontal and your other hand is braced against like the midway point. That is the most piss take of it. Like, cool. All targets you could ever want are going to go through my entire ass strong. You are so boned if you attack into that. Like, it looks like high risk, high reward. It's nowhere near as risky as it looks. And as much as fucking morons will be like, oh, well, it's really risky. Like, if you fuck it up, just choose to not fuck it up and grow up. Amazing. You can't bash an elk with a rock unless you walk forwards and bash the elk with the rock. If you play with your dick, then you're not doing the elk bashing. If you're doing a setup and fucking mentally masturbating over like how cool you must look and you're not trying to hit the person, yeah, it's very risky because you're an idiot. Sorry, that makes me annoyed. And then your last one being remove. You're strong. They go to attack. They go to find your sword. The act of finding your sword is a commitment of an action that you can go, Lord, I'm going to find your sword. Find their sword when they attack you, just at a target. They find themselves. Find their sword when they find your sword. Or they've done literally nothing, find their sword and hit them. All these actions going in absence for most people will genuinely feel fucking dumb. Like, one of the hardest things to get people to not do is, but I go around your sword and hit you, and you hit me, and why didn't you respect my threat? Kill me. Sorry, that just fucking makes me rage. When you do this kind of drill, the whole goal is dealing with their sword with an action that hits them in like 4 of the ways of doing it of all time. You'll notice I didn't speak about whether you're in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or Cart, Tierce, Prime, whatever. Because those aren't... They're relevant, but they're not relevant. They're important. They're not important. That's not the parts of this that if you get hung up on that, like, come watch this when you stop getting hung up on that. Yeah, I should have put that at the start, hey? But that's what I was working on last night. And then I did a bunch of videos for doing a video of every circle of Tibalt. I got the first chapter done, which is cool. All subsequent actions, I am going to have other people for it. I think it would bring me a lot of joy. I have no idea if it'll bring anyone else joy. That I'm going to try and have it as varied, and when I travel and see my friends, try and do a few circles with literally anyone. So that we can all look back on it and see this funny project and be like, haha, that's me. I did this chapter. Because I do want to finish it. I'm a little terrified because it's such an undertaking. But I think it would be kind of cute and sweet if I can have various friends, like, it's only like a 1 to 4 minute video on most of them. Do a handful of them. It's like, oh, cool. Oh, I think the cutest thing would be if a friend then traveled and someone said like, oh, You were in some of Mosh's videos for the thing. I've seen you before. Who are you? And it creates a connection, or it creates like a breakdown, a barrier. That would be cute to me. Anything else I was working on? No. Garrett's beginner's class is going beautifully and brings me immense joy. A bunch of my friends are there and saying beautiful things and doing beautiful things. My very dear friend of mine, his wife is taking up fencing, which is beautiful. And I was not paying attention really. I was in my own world. I think I just finished the videos. And I hear their little debrief. And hearing this sentence of, oh, I learned how to be strong, which from a femme presenting person, it's just a really cool thing to hear someone say, and to say it honestly and feel it. To hear it from anyone is cool, but like there's just little extra layers, right? And those moments, like that's why I do this, man. Fuck. And I live for that. People learning they can be strong. It's fucking cool. Fuck. Cool. If there's anything that you want to ask me about or ramble about, want to see what the fuck I have to say about it, which power to you. Feel free to comment, and if I read it and go like and I like lose the next hour of my life, I will just grab my phone and just fucking talk about it. Thank you so much.